Spiritbox. I think this is going to be a biggie for the rock and metal scene. March 7th. So we're looking at consecutive weeks here. Killswitch on February the 21st. Architects February the 28th. March 7th is going to be Spiritbox dropping album number 2, Tsunami Sea. So Spiritbox, as I'm sure you remember, they kind of came out during COVID, and maybe because a lot of people were stuck at home, a lot of people were being chronically online, spending far more time than they may well have done previously online. Spiritbox just blew up. And they've got the second album, Tsunami Sea, is due on March the 7th, which will put it 4-ish years, maybe 3.5, since 2021's Eternal Blue. I think we've only heard a couple of tracks from this album so far. Perfect Soul and Soft Spine. I don't think we've heard any more tracks from it so far. But anyway, I think this is going to be one of those albums because it's a biggie for Spiritbox.
Do you consider that Spiritbox has a gimmick?
No, I don't. This is the thing. We say that Spiritbox don't have a gimmick. Spiritbox do have one advantage over a lot of bands that, let's be completely honest and open about this, will get them a lot of views online, that will get them a lot of attention, and that's a very attractive front person. That helps. In the modern world of, you have 1 second, maybe less, to get someone's attention as they're scrolling through TikTok or possibly Instagram Reels or Red Note, if that's going to become a thing. And if there is an attractive lady there, then with a lot of particularly younger males, you will get their attention more.
I'll give you that. But the same could be said for a really handsome chap.
Exactly.
I mean,
yes.
honestly, I remember back in the day, I remember going to see Bon Jovi. And this is like way back when, 80s.
Is this your awakening?
Well, but it was just women wall to wall. It was unbelievable. I don't think I've ever been to a rock gig that was like that before. I'm serious. It was insane. I mean, I know he's a handsome chap, but man, wow. That was the Winnipeg Arena was full. And it was like there were an extraordinary number of women there, really looking like put a lot of effort in. A lot of effort.
And I don't mention this to take anything away from
the
band
what you mean.
at all. I'm not
Agreed,
taking away from, Spiritbox or the music at all. But you've got to take every advantage that you can get in this game.
Fair enough.
In fact, in any game. And if they don't have a gimmick as such, but if they can get attention by using what they got, man.
I go back to your point where you said about Sleep Token and Bring Me in particular. The songs. They have some songs, not all, some songs that are wow, that's next level stuff.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so I think Spiritbox has that. And so it's the second album. So usually, not always, but often it's sort of the third album into the journey, third or fourth album where that's the monster.
Yeah.
So it'd be interesting to see. And that's not necessarily true because, Guns N' Roses did it fairly well in their debut. I think that did relatively well, I think. But, it'd be interesting to see the next step for Spiritbox. Is there a noticeable difference? Are they just doing the same thing again?
Yeah.
It'd be interesting to see. And are they going towards the big one? If there is a big one.
Yeah. The thing is, Eternal Blue, I think, was the big one because of all the hype that had built up around Spiritbox. They were huge with like millions of views on YouTube, and they hadn't even released an album yet. The buzz around them back in 2020 into 21 was just like, wow. And it was like, oh yeah, these cats. Thing is, I didn't realize we must have met Spiritbox, or at least Courtney and I think it's her husband, guitarist Mike Stringer and vocalist Courtney LaPlante. They're like married, so we must have met them when they came in with I Wrestled a Bear once.
Yes, Sophie was big on I Wrestled a Bear once.
Yes,
like she was well ahead of it. Can I tell you a little story about Spiritbox?
Yes, by all means.
My mom, God rest her soul, my mom told me about Spiritbox because they're from, or I think Courtney is from Victoria. which is on Vancouver Island.
Right.
And so there would have been a story in the local newspaper in Victoria that my mom read about when they were, when they were getting noticed, because that would be big news in Victoria. And she mentioned them to me. And I go, what? So my mom introduced me to Spiritbox.
Well,
I know.
I don't even know what to say to that one.
She would have been in her 80s at that point in time.
Well into her 80s by that point. Oh yeah,
some local news story appeared about this band that seems to be doing fairly well.
I think this is going to be. I think Spiritbox Tsunami Sea is going to be another incredible album, an album that shapes 2025. Although, if anybody from Spiritbox somehow hears this podcast, can I ask a favor? When you're playing live, can you have flipping spotlights? I went to go see him at the Victoria Warehouse last year, I think it was. And as with a lot of bands now, they had these big video screens that were behind the stage. So say the band members are like 5-6 feet tall. These were like 8 foot, 10 foot video screens. And they looked fabulous as a backdrop for the stage. They looked really cool. But because these video screens were lit up and they didn't have spotlights, all you could see was the band in silhouette for almost the entire gig. It's like, I want to watch the band. I don't just want to watch their silhouettes. And it was very cool. And it was a cool effect. But I did find myself wishing that I could see what the band were doing. You know what I mean? It's like,
it's funny that, and maybe they didn't want to be seen. Maybe because
that's the thing,
this is really far fetched, but maybe because of what you said about Courtney being attractive. Says let's not, because it's weird that you mentioned that, because I was thinking about Susanna Hoffs, because I heard Eternal Flame the other day.
The Bangles,
and Susanna Hoffs was the lead singer.
I think,
and
so,
all the boys loved her. Probably before your time, actually. But it was like, wow, I
was a child,
and I remember her coming out and going, yeah, great, but I'm really kind of into my music. Hope they like the music, kind of thing. So blessing and a curse. I guess from a label's point of view, yeah, we need to lead with this. But if you're thinking, well, no, let's lead with the music. Let's stand on our own on the music. So I'd be interested to know if let's not make it all about a pretty face, and let's make it into the music. Let's stand, let's stand on our own 2 feet, based upon our music. I don't know if was the idea behind why they were silhouettes, but maybe it was. Maybe they didn't want to be seen.
Maybe it is. Yeah, it was a very cool effect. But next time I see him, I'd quite like to actually watch what the guitarists are doing, watch the bass player and all that. Although Ronnie's with us in the chat on this subject, saying Incubus and Brandon Boyd losing his shirt. Jews, I remember your wife getting quite excited about that one. She still does. She still does, mate. We were. Do you ever have those nights with your partner where you just end up sitting around and chatting and maybe having a drink of wine or something like that? And we just put a playlist on YouTube and Incubus came on. Then all of a sudden, I couldn't say anything interesting to take her eyes off the TV.
You become superfluous.
Absolutely.
You become invisible.
Yeah. Spiritbox, Tsunami Sea. I think it's going to be one of the 5 albums that we look back at and go, that was a biggie for 2025.
Primordial Radio.